Hey, before I say any what we're doing today, let me make sure the stream is doing okay on my end. All right, we're good. Hey guys, it's me. We're back again with Genshin. I got a firefly. What? Oh, I almost got a firefly. Well, I'm sad. But today, what we're doing in Genshin Impact is, as you can tell from the title, we're going to be progressing the story. Get the fireflies, you bastard! Freaking heck. You suck, game. Okay, anyway, as I was saying, as you guys can tell from the title, we're going to be progressing the story here. But before we go to the story, I'm going to collect these items. Before we progress the story, let me show you guys something. So, after the stream ended, I was wasting my money on wishes. I'm gonna go into financial trouble with this game IRL. And I unlocked a new character, if I could find her. We unlocked Mona, which is really surprising, since in the last stream we met her. And I have leveled up a few characters. I think I leveled up Klee. I think I did level up Navia. Although ascending her now is probably going to be a pain in the ass. Yeah, it is. I have completed the boss a few times. Right. And as a matter of fact, I wasn't trying to get Mona. I was trying to get, who was the woman that was with us during the festival? Let me show you. I was trying to get her. Akaya. I suck at pronouncing things, and I'm pretty sure we all do, so, hang on, is the stream doing okay? Yeah, oh, shoot. Yeah, it's doing okay. I mean, one person's watching. that person's me. I'm so lonely. Well, sometimes. Ever since I've been kind of putting my streams on DeviantArt, people have been watching them a bit. Alright, but hang on. Speaking of which, let me do that real quick. Real quick, I'll do that. Alright. Go back. Alright, I'm gonna do that real quick. I added 3 smiley face emojis, because why not? Okay, so anyway, here's what... Okay, I did say Did I mention I have a plan earlier? Well, in case I didn't say that, I have a plan. So, here's my plan. Pausing the game was not my plan. Okay, so, here's my plan. We're going to continue on with the story. I may be wrong, but I think we're close to the Fontaine main missions. I think we're close to getting it. So once we're done with the Fontaine missions, we'll go ahead and do some story quests, and we're gonna do that one first because that one, I believe, if we do that, then I could unlock the oh, let me claim the key. I could unlock the quest that I have been locked. It has been locked ever since I was in Liyue. We have a few other quests, but we need to do a lot of quests before we're going to do stuff like that. Alright. So that's going to be the plan. Once we're done with Fontaine's quest, we'll do some story quests. Like I said, I doubt we're gonna be finished with them, but wait, do I? Okay, I don't think my expansion quests have been done yet, but I do have more forged ingredients. Let's go ahead and cook. I do need more health stuff, so let's see. I don't have enough sugar. Well, can I make some? No, that's flour. Shoot. Ew, okay. Well, first things first. I want to make this. Let's make 5 of these because I do need the eggs. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. Hang on, let me... Okay, no one has a special dish. And that's 5. Okay, that's 5. That's all we're gonna make for now. Alright, next, let's make these. Oh. Frick. Let's not make those, because I will waste all my sugar if I do. How many can I make? 6. Okay, let's make half. Let's make 3. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and progress ingredients. I'm gonna get some flour. Let's make 50. Sure, why not? Okay, I'm not done making. Okay, let's cook these because Razor cooks a special dish, and I love Razor. And we're gonna have to level up the characters because I've been using these kind of characters a lot on my streams. Not saying I can't stand them. I'm just saying we need to change. We need change, you know? Change. No, there's nothing wrong with change. As much as I love the characters, we probably need more characters because we can't just use them all the time. We need other characters for like other things and other missions and other challenges. And I don't know why, but I nearly ran out of breath. Wait, I can auto-cook this. What the frick am I doing? There's no half of 7, is there? No, there's not. Let's just cook 4. Alright. What else should I cook? Oh, I should probably cook those, but I probably... Yeah, I can only cook 1. Ew. Can I cook this? Sure, we can make 5. Why not? Alright, I'm trying to figure out what else. Oh, no, that's gonna... No, that's just... We can only make 1. Sure, we can make a buttload of this. No, we can't. Let's just cook 3. Can I special? Okay, no. Little pro tip for any gacha club, not gacha club, Genshin Impact beginners. Sometimes when you click on something and when you do a character, sometimes they here. Let me go to Razor. I'm pretty sure I just explained it, but yeah. But some of these characters can level up the cooking, but some of them can make a special dish, which is kind of cool. I love characters when they have their own dishes. All right, hang on. Let me cancel navigation. Yeah, I have been doing this boss battle 2 times. As a matter of fact, until the festival missions end, that girl I mentioned that was in the Wish, she's right over there. She just watches the battle, and she was watching me getting my ass kicked. Well, I won the battle a few times. Yeah, I know my characters can be leveled up through these. Let me show you guys. They can be leveled up through these artifacts, except I barely pay attention to some of the artifacts. Like, yes, this could be used by your sword, but the attacks aren't just good enough. So, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up some special artifacts that might help. It might be a pain in the ass to level up because it costs a bunch of Mora. Speaking of Mora, how much do I have? God, I keep sidetracking. Like, I need to go to Fontaine, and yet I'm asking so many questions. Like, how much money do I have? Okay, I have this much money. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, I'm just checking some other things. I have been fishing a lot. All right, enough distractions. Let's just go to the main mission, okay?
This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
Okay, yeah, thanks for reminding us of the Great Depression. Not that. Okay. I was trying to make a joke, but it didn't go out well. I'm sorry. Oh, I see her down there. All right, we're coming.
That's Farina, right over there. She really is here all on her own.
Stay quiet for now.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry, but what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over?
Farina.
Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. It's just us.
Jeez.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects. Come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning was so moving. I'm still trying to process it. Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my enjoyment of the arts. They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marish Sauce Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too.
Okay. Stop trying to act tough, Farina. You're actually beyond devastated right now, aren't you?
Of course not.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there!
Ah, crap.
Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
No shit, Sherlock!
They are... They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't they?
Wow, rabid fans.
That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
What are we gonna do, fight him?
Farina just ran off.
What, are we gonna fight him?
Quick, we have to catch up with her.
I was about to say. Isn't it awkward without music? Jeez, how did they not see Paimon's thing?
This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina, there's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
What is this place?
Hurry, they're almost here.
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
Wait, can we go inside this building the whole time? Wow. Touchy.
Paimon's exhausted.
I'm so tired. I totally thought they had caught me. No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
This place is not what I'd call soundproof. You might want to lower your voice to stay hidden.
You're right.
Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
Another disaster just struck, I suspect.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Nouvellette's made some emergency plans, so the evacuation should go a lot smoother this time.
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of Poisson, they've already...
Has Farina really reached her limit? Now that she's talking about her actual feelings, she's starting to look far less stiff.
It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Teyvat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled.
But even then, you still haven't given up, right?
Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also for me to finally be free.
But what would also mean that all hope would disappear?
Indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times. Especially after we almost lost Poisson. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just started to come true, and so many people have already lost their lives. But just now, it all became clear to me. I still don't have the right to come to terms with fate on behalf of everyone else. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all. Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
We're running out of time. We can't just go back to square one like this. I have to get more information out of her. Farina, you might not have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone, your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
Share my burden? That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
But even if your burden doesn't need it to be shared, you can still choose to confine in someone. Just share it with me. I'm what you'd call a witness.
A witness? Yes. I've heard that you came to Teyvat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here. And if Teyvat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you? If that's the case...
There's no time left. Please, Farina, just spit it out. Uh-oh. Oh, it was a trap from the start!
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words? as your refusal to stand trial. In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god?
Oh! Yes.
I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of this?
Shh. It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
Looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed in myself. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice! This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words, this shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalor, will now begin!
Woohoo! Oh, now we're making history!
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right?
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
It's gonna be me.
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Yep. Thank you, Your Honor.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent.
We're getting close to getting her to tell us the truth, and it still turned out like this in the end. It's okay, though. As long as we can defeat Farina in court, we'll still have a chance to figure everything out.
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins, just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean... the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontainian history.
I'll give it to Lenny. That was impressive.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Aranias. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off.
Wow.
We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Sorry about that. We deserve you back there. We just need you back there.
Then, I can guess Nervillette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
Hang on. I got something. Alright. Notification, sorry.
Thank you.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
No, you guessed wrong.
Oh?
My mission was to give you one last chance. We hoped that you'd share your secret with us before the magic box arrived onto the stage.
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Yeah, the only thing we can do now is to judge the Hydro Archon. Still, I can't help but be a little bit bothered by the conversation earlier. What did Farina want to say to me right before we arrived on the stage?
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. Speed up the proceedings.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte!
I saw her way before!
Let Paimon see. Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? So she's already finished it, huh? Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine! So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument!
It's a super practical gift. I never would have thought of using it this way.
Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right. I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence. This is the first time Monsieur Nervillette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out. A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something. The fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always be a source of professional regret, I think. According to Monsieur Nervillette, both Child and that whale should have been in the primordial sea at that time.
Here's the thing. When I was fighting Child because it was part of my challenge. It was back at that bank in Leeway. A giant whale appeared when he was attacking me, so maybe that whale was part of his vision. No, he didn't have his vision, so that can't be it. I'm talking stupid. Never mind.
lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers. The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
Alright.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh boy.
Oh, come on, nervy lad.
Oh.
There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this. Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah. Even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
Huh. An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
The people only see you as their Archon, because that's their long-held belief.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am? And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
I gotta think carefully. What do we know to be spectacle about Farina, exactly? Well, I was about to say, she was wrong about Lenny, but... yeah, she didn't know why.
That doesn't sound right.
Oh, okay. What about the Knave's comment?
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived
Yeah.
race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Such as a curse.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
It doesn't matter who gave us the information. What matters is the veracity of the claim. I may have said that wrong, but who cares?
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Neverlet sensed it too, huh?
So, Farina, instead of an Archon, could you just be a cursed human?
Lady Farina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
Wait, that one trial proved the opposite. Farina actually has no control over the Oratrice at all. Okay. Could this be part of Child's case? Because if she can't control the Oratrice, she doesn't know how it happened. Let's try that.
You tried to reference... You as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
Sure, we can put the Oratrice aside for now, but then, Miss Farina, could you give us a brief demonstration of your power as an Archon?
My power as an Archon? There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
A brief demonstration of your power over Hydro should be quite harmless. Surely an Archon can at least match the capabilities of a human with a vision.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium. Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me, please? You've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is?
I'm gonna place a bet. It's Nivelette.
If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? Seems like she really doesn't want to give up.
If we can't prove that she's the Hydro Archon, we could try and prove that she is just a human. If she's only human... Neverlette's power did stop the Primordial Sea. I mean, but Hydro Archon, that sounds like something a Hydro Archon would do. Let's see. What about the Wailing Child's dream? But do you think people's gonna believe that? That's irrelevant. We already used all these. Okay, here's my choices: Nevelette, and the Dreams. Let's go with Nevelette first.
That doesn't sound
Okay. Then what about the... Is the Dream part of it? People are gonna think we're crazy. Oh, it's not irrelevant. I didn't see that. Oh, man. I'm gonna click this. I don't know why, but I'm gonna click it. Yeah. Okay. I guess it's Lumi's attorney? Yeah, I figured. All right, then it's this one, right?
It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the Primordial Sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater?
Oh!
If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
Oh my gosh, she's doing it. Furina?
Lady Furina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only mean...
What's going on? Is she really planning to... That's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Furina, you may...
She touched it!
Hey!
She actually...
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegeween? If you are present, Miss Siegeween, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegeween?
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds.
Oh!
Let me see.
What did she get here?
That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegeween.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Furina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegeween. Lady Furina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved. Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. Entirely unexpected might occur. We don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Furina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Furina could have...
I can't believe... you...
But what's really going on here? Furina can't have not known the consequence of touching that water as a human. This is too unlike how she usually acts. Unless it's actually more important to her to keep up her facade than to save her own life. But hasn't she given up on everything a long time ago?
Listen to me, everyone. Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks. What happened just now didn't prove a single thing. Think about it. How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water?
This is the face of disbelief.
Everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Furina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
Oh, brother. What's going on?
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal to render the final verdict on the charges.
I almost feel bad.
According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal, Farina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
Did the Oratrice just declare Verona to be innocent?
No. The Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty to be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court. And it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate this quickly?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Vacher wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
What's more strange is, instead of Farina, the Oratrice rendered judgment on the Hydro Archon.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Excuse me, if I may interrupt.
Huh?
Is the trial still going?
Fremine! Your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
Fremine brings a stone slate on the stage.
Missing slate!
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water. But has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late? Oh no. Father will be disappointed in me.
Okay, first of all, I'm still gonna complain how you call her a father when she's technically a female. Why didn't you just choose the name of mother? Second of all, don't worry, the mystery hasn't been resolved yet, but it's too late. But still not too late for you to shine.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates. I would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Alright. Could just jumped off.
Huh?
Just saying.
So what do you see? What is it?
This looks like the previous Hydro Archon releasing her divine power, turning the oceans into human beings.
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
An association between the contents of the slates and the events in real life.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Paimon will do her best to help you remember.
Oh, frickin' heck. If you find scenarios related to the Stone Slates, contents and incidents recorded in the interview notebook. There will be verified slate. The verified she continues. The found one will rise. When you have finished verifying the Stone Slates, the truth behind the prophecy shall be revealed. Oh, we're about to do the real prophecy here.
The first Stone Slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans. Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids can turn into humans, then perhaps this process can be reversed as well.
Wow, Vache was really doing the wrong things.
The second Stone Slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing? The third slate shows the Hydro Archon seeking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a question of when and not if.
Okay, well... Hang on, they did say the thing was backward. Hang on. It turns out the Fontaine's creepy. Okay, I'm gonna be guessing here, but I'm gonna try and think on this quick.
That doesn't sound quite right. Let's think about this some more.
Okay. Oh, wait, I put the wrong one. Shoot. Yeah, that...
In the case of the serial disappearances of young women, that Fontanians can be dissolved in primordial seawater. This might be the reason that Fontanians can dissolve.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I accidentally clicked Vache on this one. I was meant to do that one. Okay. Hang on, let's see. In the shows, the chance of floating in the sky, the Hydro Archon. Yeah, I do know. Wait. Oh, Oceanids. Wait, this almost looks like. Okay, Okay, here's from the last stream when Nahida nearly fell into the Primordial Sea. This looks like that's what's happening here, so I'm gonna choose her because it looks exactly what's happening over there.
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing?
I'm a genius. Okay, I don't know about this one. Wait, she was crying on the throne, and she was crying during the court. That means, does this connect?
That doesn't sound...
All right. Okay, fair enough. But you got to admit, that does look like she was crying up there, because she was crying when she knew that she was going to be proven guilty. That kind of does connect a little bit if you think about it. Okay. Hey, hang on, I'm just gonna guess on this one.
That doesn't...
All right.
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervalet mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates.
All right, so we need one more for this one. So it's not Nivelled on this one. I'm just guessing. Is it the T? Okay. So. I'm thinking here. I don't know, so I'm just gonna choose this. Okay, lucky guess.
From the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Merope was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontanians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may come true. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
All right. We did it.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an oceanid. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Merope was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The stone slate's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truth should come to light.
I feel like we just made the prophecy and... Oh, leave. Oh, sorry, I was pressing X.
Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! So that's how you can make sense of it. But then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Let's hear them.
The first slate reveals that Fontaines are not real humans.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
The second slate reveals that the crime of the Hydro Archon was her creation of Fontanians from Oceanids.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably anchored Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
As for the third slate, I'm still convinced that it should come after the fourth slate.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
And the fourth slate depicts the fundamental of the prophecy that is already widely known.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, While you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
Well? Did you get it?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race, and thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
Oh, so the primordial sea weakens their shell and... they're Oceanids for real, but when they touch the seawater, their shells break and they... That's interesting.
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing.
I would do that.
Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct.
So they are in the right order. What is the 3rd slate supposed to represent then?
A key point of the visual on the 3rd slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the 3rd slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice.
It can't be.
Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
What should we do?
I don't know. It feels like there's no way out of this.
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels like to be a prisoner of fate?
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the 4th slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Ah, crap.
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions.
Right.
About the 4th slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes? However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
Wait, could it be?
This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
Oh, this is getting serious. Oh, shoot. Okay, we have to do this again. Alright. What about that? Yes!
It was both dream and reality.
Oh.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
Uh-oh. That's a big whale. Oh no. Child! Man, you showed up just in time. And now he's gone again. What was that?
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
That's right. I wager that it's also the one that Child saw when he was young.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontanians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's managed to recover its strength?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy, all we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
It is too late.
What do you mean?
It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself. Even if the entirety of Teyvat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe. That's just not fair.
Indeed. That's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end. No matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
After everything is still different, we couldn't fight against the fate. Wait, but if this is all about fate...
Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Teyvat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
Could it be that even if the prophecy will be fulfilled, there's still no way to save everyone? Did I miss something? Wait, I forgot that Furina was the one that Furina was what wasn't she wanted to say in that moment, the giant box. What is her real secret? Oh boy.
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Now?
Furina! No, I still need answers.
Whoa. This is cool.
You.
the text says, Furina?
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Furina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe. Now does it? She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, It was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me quite a colossal mess to clean up. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her.
Oh.
All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne.
That was a rhyme.
In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy, under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity,